Restaurant of Love. The brightly lit restaurant buzzed with conversation and sparkling glasses. The air was alive with the sizzle of food being prepared, the scent of spices and fresh ingredients drifting from the kitchen. Art-lined walls flickered under soft ambient lighting, creating an atmosphere of quiet elegance at the Restaurant of Love, a trendy spot that had recently opened in the heart of the city. A group of 6 friends sat around a round table near the back. Their laughter and chatter filled the air, blending with the sounds of sizzling dishes. There was Say. She was the quiet graphic designer with a mind full of ideas but a voice rarely heard. And Revie, the adventurous travel blogger whose charismatic personality made him the center of attention wherever he went. Alongside them sat Wen, Vei, Ruvy and Lott, each with their own stories to tell, their own lives and loves to discuss. But tonight, the focus seemed to shift subtly to Say and Revie seated face to face at the group's table. It started with a glance. Their eyes met across the table, a fleeting, unspoken connection that neither could explain, but both felt it. Say, normally shy and reserved, felt her heartbeat quicken as she noticed the warmth in Revie's gaze. Revie, he wasn't saying anything, but the silence between them spoke volumes. For a moment, the noise of the restaurant faded, and it was as though they were the only 2 people in the room. She quickly looked away, pretending to focus on the conversation around her, but her mind raced. What was happening? It was nothing, she told herself. Just a simple glance. But the tension lingered like a soft hum in the air. Revie, meanwhile, could barely concentrate on the lively discussions going on around him. His thoughts kept drifting back to Say. There was something about her quiet elegance, the way her eyes seemed to speak volumes, even when she was quiet. He had to admit he was intrigued. As dessert arrived, the group continued to laugh and banter, unaware of the subtle shift taking place between their 2 friends. Say and Revie exchanged a few awkward words here and there, but the attraction was palpable. It was as if the restaurant itself had conspired to bring them together. They were both drawn to each other, but neither knew what to do with the sudden spark of emotion. The waiter came by, asking with a polite smile, "Is that all for tonight?" The friends nodded, still chatting as they stood to leave. They made their way through the narrow halls of the restaurant, their footsteps echoing softly on the polished wooden floor. Paintings and sculptures adorned the walls, each piece more elegant than the last. The group paused in front of an abstract painting that seemed to capture the subtle nature and beauty of love, a reflection of the evening's strange energy. As they admired the art, Say and Revie found themselves drifting to the back of the group. They exchanged a few more words, their conversation drifting from casual topics to deeper subjects, relationships, love, and the meaning of connection. It was as if the walls of the restaurant had created a space where they could speak freely, where they could explore emotions without fear of judgment. "I think I've always believed in love at first sight," Say confessed, her voice soft. "But it always seemed like something that only happened in movies." Revie smiled. "Maybe we just have to let ourselves believe in it." Revie thought back to his schoolboy days, an occasion when a girl named Svat had baked a chocolate cake with ripe red cherry on top on Valentine's Day. At lunch, Revie and Svat took photos with their camera, under the shade of a tree. Revie didn't want to ruin the look of the cake and took carefully cut slices of the cake with his pocket knife.
Svat was simply relieved that the cake hadn't melted in the heat of the summer's day. She had plucked a cherry, put it in her mouth, which led Revie to also pluck some cherries. Revie will never forget Svat's summer dress on the out-of-uniform Valentine's Day. It matched perfectly with the cherries on her cake.
Revie's reminiscing was suddenly interrupted by Vei, who called out, "Hey, you 2, are you coming to look at the rest of the art, or are you just going to stand there and stare at each other all night?" They both laughed, but it was clear that the moment had shifted something between them. As the group continued their tour of the restaurant's gallery, Say and Revie walked side by side, their steps in sync. The evening ended without fanfare. The friends said their goodbyes in the lobby, each of them heading in different directions. Say and Revie lingered near the door for a moment, an awkward silence hanging between them. "So," Revie said, his voice low, "I guess this is goodbye?" Say hesitated. The night had been full of subtle moments, and now she had to decide if she wanted to take things further. "I don't know," she said, looking up at him. "Maybe we could talk some more?"
"I know this great place where they serve coffee late at night next to the laundry shop." Revie grinned. I'd like that. As they exchanged a brief, tentative hug, Say couldn't help but smile. The evening had started as a simple dinner with friends, but somehow it had turned into something more. An unexpected encounter, a quiet love that had blossomed in the unlikeliest of places. And as she walked out into the cool night air, she realized that love, much like the restaurant itself, was full of surprises. Sometimes it was just a glance away. The restaurant of love had lived up to its name. The coffee shop wasn't loud, just alive. A soft glow from the hanging lamps painted the room in warmth. The aroma of garlic, herbs, and something deliciously unfamiliar filled the air. At each table, couples and friends leaned in, sharing stories and laughter. It was the kind of place that made promises, whispered of romance and second chances. Say confessed while sipping coffee. Meeting new people always makes me a little shy. I'm often too caught up in making a good impression.